Live from 10 News, this is the Now San Diego.
Perhaps the most controversial member of the Trump administration is resigning. Good afternoon. I'm Steve Atkinson in for Kimberly Hunt. Scandal-plagued EPA Chief Scott Pruitt called it quits today. Brian Slonsky's in the Live Center. And Brian, this was a long time coming.
Yeah, Steve, many people say that Scott Pruitt had become a constant source of embarrassment for President Trump. Don't forget, the president entered Washington promising to drain the swamp. Pruitt has faced an array of ethical questions, including on travel spending, on security costs, dealings with lobbyists, and misuses of government resources. He had denied any wrongdoing. President Trump announcing on Twitter that he had accepted Pruitt's resignation. You see that tweet right here. The president going on to write, quote, "Within the agency, Scott has done an outstanding job, and I'll always be thankful to him for this." President Trump says the deputy at the EPA, Andrew Wheeler, will assume duties as the acting administrator on Monday. And one more thing, the president also said on Air Force One that it was totally Pruitt's decision to walk away. Steve?
All right, Brian, and he already unraveled a lot of the Obama administration EPA laws, so this is going to be interesting to see what happens here. All right, our other big story is the heat wave in our county. Angelica Campos joins us, and today is just the beginning, Angelica.
Yeah, this is not a laughing matter. It is definitely getting hot, and it's just getting started. Today, we can even call it the appetizer, getting you ready for what's coming. It's going to get hotter tomorrow, and the heat will peak on Saturday before it goes back down. But just because it drops, it doesn't mean it gets better. We actually have humidity that will be combining with the heat over the weekend, and it's just going to be way too uncomfortable. Right now, it's 95 degrees in Ramona, 91 in Escondido. If you're wondering whether or not we'll be setting records today, I just look at the records, and they're actually in the triple digits. So we would need about another 10 degrees or so to actually break any records, and I don't think anybody wants that. In Chula Vista, the record for today is 85 degrees, so that's the only place that I'm looking at numbers close to a record for today. But there's plenty to talk about here. A heat advisory, including the coast, including our mountains. That's where temperatures will average from about 90 to up to 100. Now, the hundreds, of course, will be closer to the mountains, but at the coast, 90s are hot enough. Excessive heat warning for our inland communities where temperatures will average between 100 to 115. So it's definitely too hot all over the county.
Tough couple of days. All right, thank you, Angelica. Highway 8 business in Lakeside is back open after a truck hit and killed a man. The driver of the pickup says that a man wearing all black suddenly appeared right in the middle of the road early this morning. The driver wasn't able to stop in time and hit the man. He immediately called 911, but the man died at the scene. Officers do say the man who was killed was 27 years old and lived in the area. They're now looking into why he was in the middle of the street in the first place. And cleaning up our beaches was a big task on this day after the 4th of July. But as our 10 News anchor Jim Patton discovered, some of the people helping didn't do so by choice.
Usually at 8:30, pretty grumpy. By 3 o'clock, though, everyone has a great attitude.
And that's Sarah Burns, Executive Director of Discover Pacific Beach, helping folks sign up for the Instant Justice Program, which for 6 years now has been offering people who've been ticketed for minor non-traffic infractions the opportunity to wipe the record clean by paying a $40 fee, followed by 6 hours of picking up trash in the business district which borders the beach. Participants were not in a mood to be interviewed this morning, but a few of them told me off camera that they were cited for things like having a glass container or drinking a little bit of wine on the beach. They said they felt blindsided, but they were relieved that they could get the tickets wiped out. Meanwhile, the Surfrider Foundation, I Love a Clean San Diego, and Coastkeeper had their volunteer groups out here picking up trash at several locations along the coast. And a couple of the volunteers that we spoke to here at Pacific Beach said that they were very impressed by how much cleaner the beaches were even before they started their work.
I've found it remarkably clean, frankly. I think you can see all the trash cans. They're all lined up really close. It's early in the morning. They're already been emptied. So people, like I said, have been working really hard yesterday and I think early this morning to keep it clean.
So environmental groups really crediting the city with putting out more trash cans to help keep the trash off of the sand. They say primarily what they've been picking up today is cigarette butts, but even that is reduced from years past because there are fewer people smoking. So positive report from Pacific Beach. Reporting from PB, Jim Patton, 10 News.
That is one way to get out of a ticket. Howard, a judge is upholding 2 of California's sanctuary state laws. Today, He rejected the Trump administration's request to block the laws, including one preventing law enforcement from providing information on jail inmates. He did block one law that banned employers from allowing immigration officials on their premises without a warrant.
All right, let's get to our top stories here in the Now newsfeed. We have video of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo heading to North Korea today. He's hoping to nail down what the North is doing with its nuclear program, because there are reports the country is still moving forward with it, even though they told President Trump they would stop. Well, today marks a week since the shooting at the Capital Gazette newspaper and newsrooms across the world, observing a moment of silence for the people who were killed happening at the same time the gunman entered that Maryland paper and started shooting. Dallas police say a woman shot a man in the head who was trying to steal her SUV. Her 2 children were inside that vehicle. Police say the woman gave the man a warning before she pulled out a gun and fired. Well, these here are just a few of the 14,000 immigrants becoming U.S. citizens this week. There have been more than 24 naturalization ceremonies across the country, including some today. But this comes as there's a new report finding a growing backlog in processing those citizenship applications. The Now's Kamasi Aaron looking into the concerns.
So help me God. Congratulations, you are citizens.
In this naturalization ceremony, 40 people officially became citizens of the United States of America. Dong Yang Wang was one of them.
How excited are you to take this oath today?
Oh, I think my dream come true because it's the day I'm waiting for 20 years.
Dong Yang came to the U.S. from China, and when she became eligible, decided to apply for citizenship.
How long did you have to wait after you applied?
1 year, exactly 1 year.
A new report from the National Partnership for New Americans found applicants could wait as long as 20 months for their applications to be processed, and a backlog may be behind it. The report found an 88% increase in citizenship application processing backlog in the last 2 years, from 390,000 applications in 2015 to nearly 730,000 in 2017.
But the government agency that oversees the naturalization process is rejecting those claims. It says the truth is that the number of people the U.S. naturalizes each year has remained virtually unchanged.
USCIS says the current pending workload does not equate to a backlog, but instead is a statistic used in the USCIS report to include every application for naturalization filed, including those filed in recent days and weeks. And many cases are well within the processing time goal.
People's Republic of China.
Now, in the magnitude of this moment, she says that wait seems small.
It's okay for me because I already wait for 20 years.
A new chapter in citizenship, one many are still waiting to experience. For the Now, I'm Kumasi Aaron.
Kamasi, thank you. Let's get back to our lineup here with a story that is frankly music to our ears. As cell phone companies, well, they're now behind a new plan to block those really annoying robocalls, and we really like this because it would be free. Yeah, we'll fill you in on that when the Now continues.